Good morning, everybody. Welcome to That One Thing. My name is Julie Garnyé. I'm a singer, an actress, a director, a writer, a producer, and now a host. This show is about that one thing that my guests are just so passionate about that they have to talk about it. Some of my guests, it's going to be very predictable what they love and what they're passionate about. For others, I think I'm going to be surprised. I'm really excited to find out what my guest today is super, super passionate about. My guest today is my friend, the brilliant actor, writer, director, singer, Michael KOSTROFF. I'm just really excited to talk to him about what fuels his fire every day. But before we get to Michael, just really quickly, a couple of quick things. This show is on a platform called StreamYard. I love this platform. I use it for all of the shows that I'm producing, and it costs money. But also, I wanted to raise money for charity. And my favorite charity of all time is the Actors Fund. The Actors Fund is not just for actors. It is for everyone who needs help in the entertainment business. So it's everyone from the actors you see on stage to the crew in the background, to the people in the box office, to the person that hands you your towel in the restroom at the theaters. Anyone in entertainment can receive help and receive funds from the Actors Fund. So I want to make sure that even though it's called Actors Fund, this is not just going to actors. It's for everyone. And they've helped me personally keep my home when I couldn't pay my rent. I know of friends who have needed medical bills paid, and the Actors Fund has come through for them. It is the most remarkable organization that I know of that does charitable work, and I wanted to support them. So if you would like to support them, please make a donation today via Venmo at juliegarnier.com. Just at Julie Garnier, or PayPal at paypal.me/Julie Garnier. You'll be able to make a donation to either of those for whatever amount. It's going to all go, except for a small portion to help pay for this platform. It will all go to the Actors Fund. So very excited to support them in every single way that I can. The next thing I want to quickly talk about is this platform. I really want everyone to get to know me as a host and get to know my guests. I want you to be able to watch this show as often as possible. So if you are here, please click subscribe right down there, right next to my name. It says subscribe. Go ahead and click it. And then if you want notifications, it's just going to be a little pop-up for you that'll say, hey, there's a show coming up. Just click the bell. As soon as you click subscribe, a little bell is going to show up. Just click on that little bell, and you'll be able to know about every show that comes up in the future. And if you're on Facebook, this is the first time today that we're using the Facebook platform. I'm on my Facebook page, which is at official Julie Garnier. And if you're on Facebook, just give me a little follow. And if you like the show, share about it. I want people to know about this show. So please share if you're interested in what we're talking about today. All right. My first guest, well, my only guest is Michael KOSTROFF. Michael KOSTROFF is an actor. He's a singer. He's appeared on such television shows as The Wire and Law and Order. For Broadway, he's done the national tours of Les Miserables and The Producers. He was in The Nance on Broadway, which is an amazing play. He's also an incredible director. He's directed all over the country, and he's written a number of books, including one of my favorites, Letters from Backstage. And he's also written a book based on his series of workshops that he teaches called Audition Psych 101. And we're going to talk about that because it's fascinating, the research that he did to create these workshops to help actors with their actual the psychology of auditioning. It's really fascinating. So I'm excited to welcome to the That One Thing family, my friend, Michael KOSTROFF.
Hi.
Hi, my friend. How are you?
Good. I love this. We get to talk.
I know.
I like the light bulb because I look smart.
Yeah, it's I do that for my guests so that they look smart in perpetuity.
Hey, before we talk about me, can I just jump on the Actors Fund bandwagon for a minute?
Yes, please.
So the Actors Fund is such a great and worthy cause, and I also have been broke and needed their support, which it's hard to ask for help. And I want to talk about the other side of it from the actor's perspective, or from the theater person's perspective. Is what I did was, when I needed help, I asked for help, and I promised myself that I would donate that back and more, and that's exactly what I've been able to do.
Mhm.
So it just is really a way of that we can share resources when we're doing well, and take advantage of the resource when we're not doing well. And it's a great charity, and I just had to give a rah. They're just wonderful.
1,000%. I feel the same way. It's why I'm featuring them on every single episode. On some of my shows, we pick different charities every week. But for me, I can't imagine doing this show without sending them a little something every week.
That's great. I love that you're doing that.
Thanks, my friend.
They're good people.
All right, so let's talk about That One Thing. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, That One Thing is a show where we actually focus on the one thing where my guest is the most passionate. So I want to talk to you about what fuels your fire every day. I'm so curious as to why you wake up in the morning. So please tell me your one thing.
This was a very hard question. It's a very hard question.
You have trouble making decisions.
I have trouble with decisions. It's true. And it depends on how you ask the question. When it's about passion, that's one answer. I guess I'm the king of the counterintuitive. I tend to often give answers that are different from what people expect. When you said, what do you think about when you get up in the morning, and what drives you through the day?
Yeah, aside from your family, like what?
Right. For me,
drives you through the day?
It's, what am I doing wrong? I think about it all the time. When I took a moment and asked myself this question, when I got your invitation, and you said, well, what do you wake up thinking about? What do you think about during the day? And I realized, wow, I have a constant undercurrent of, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. And I don't think, to be honest, I don't know if I knew the extent to which that was one of my most prominent themes until you asked me the question. And the reason I think it's worth sharing is that a lot of people go through that. And a lot of people see people like me on TV, and they're like, oh, he doesn't have those kinds of problems. And I find it ends up being more encouraging to people to know that, yeah, I'm plagued with doubt. I'm just plagued with doubt. I'm convinced that, among other things, it's likely that I've offended somebody without knowing it. Forgotten to take care of there's some tragic health thing going on that I don't know about. And I think about all the forks in the road. I mean, I know this is bleak and morose, but when I thought about what's prominent every day, day in and day out, it's always that I've wasted time, or what have I done wrong? What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? Yeah.
Okay. This is not at all what I was expecting. Truly.
I know. And we know each other pretty well.
Oh yeah. I mean, we talk multiple times a week.
Yeah. So that surprised you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first thing you think of in the morning? Like, obviously, aside from your family, like what am I doing wrong?
Did I stay up too late? Have I slept enough? I mean, it really is.
It's like, whether it's you or like you've wronged somebody else, or it's like, what am I doing wrong personally?
Right. That I'm going to pay for later. It's just going to catch up with me.
And how does that serve you?
It doesn't. It's horrible. It's horrible. But and again, it runs like behind the scenes of my brain. I'm not always conscious of it. Every time I do this, the light changes. Oh, I'm reflecting something. That gives me a nice glow.
Actually.
And I know it's funny. I know, because it's real neurotic. But it runs on a subconscious level all the time.
Huh. Okay.
Am I drinking too much coffee? Have I not invested in my career enough? Is there something else I should be doing there? I'm not training. I'm overweight. I've got all the things I'm doing wrong. But it's like, yeah, it's it's the search for it that's really crazy. What am I doing wrong? Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
it's oh my gosh, I mean,
I
like,
feel like I'm ruining your show
how
because
are
like
you learning this? Here you that's oh my God, that's part of the thing, isn't it? You're
we
like, what am
should
I
be
doing wrong on Julie's show?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
literally part of the thing.
It is. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant.
Wow.
You know, does my cat feel neglected? It's always yeah, it's plenty crazy. I'm being pretty open about, something that's deeply neurotic, but I feel like I I think it's good for people to know that.
Oh
We're
yeah.
all we're
I
all
mean,
kinda we're all
it
kinda nutty.
yeah, we're all human. We're
You
all
know,
gonna feel things that
I mean, part of it is, you know, I'm I love and appreciate the fact that I've been successful, but I was a very late bloomer. And I'm very aware of time wasted, time lost, time, so I'm in this obsessive, gotta catch up. I gotta do everything. Should I have gone to Europe? Should I have more, more often? Should I have, you know, should I be living someplace else? It's constant, constant. It's
huh.
no fun. And I don't think I realized until you asked me the question. And I feel like I was supposed to come in with something really inspiring and like uplifting and encouraging. But this is the truth.
But and that's what I want. I want the truth here. I don't want you to make something up so that people will feel inspired.
Right
However,
now, I'm worried that people think I'm doing a plug for Gregory's Coffee because that's the mug I picked.
what's Gregory's Coffee? Is that in where you are?
It's all
No.
over. I mean, it's
Oh,
in New York. It's in a lot. I'm not doing a plug. That's just the cup I grabbed.
you're welcome, Gregory's Coffee.
But I'm
Free.
worried about it. But I'm worried about it.
Uh,
I might have been wrong.
you're worried that you're like you picked the wrong mug.
I picked the wrong mug.
Picked the wrong mug.
It's real. It's real.
Wow.
And
Um,
I don't think it occurred to me that not everybody's plagued that way. Not everybody goes through life that way.
no.
You know?
But I think my question is it's about like is there concern like do you have like constant concern around do you pick one thing in the morning that you are like or is it like constantly a barrage of things?
It's the vague sense that there's a long list of things I haven't thought of that I've done wrong or that I'm doing wrong that
Huh.
will later catch up with me. It's not even it's I'm aware of things like, like not exercising enough and things like that, but it's this vague sense of like someone out there must be mad at me for something I did that I don't realize I did. It's the crazy part. It's the
Okay.
crazy part.
Okay, so then here's my next question.
Yes.
Is there ever a time when you're not plagued by this like maybe when you're acting or when you're teaching a class or when you're no even when you're like doing a scene with someone like
This is hard to admit, but what I've realized as I've thought about this is I've been on set. This is terrible. I've been on set in the middle of a scene, concerned about what the other actor is thinking about my acting instead of being in the scene.
sure we
And
all do that.
when I'm teaching, I'm concerned that that in my imagination the students are going, "What the fuck is
He
this?
doesn't know what he's talking about.
What is this? This is nonsense.
Wow. Okay.
This is the most publicly neurotic I think I've ever been. But that I have no problem with it.
Well, because you're vehemently honest.
I am vehemently honest. It's
Yeah.
important to me. It's really important to me. Like it's very strange to be at a place where I'm recognized by people and newer actors go, "Oh my God, Mr. Kostroff," and I'm like, I don't feel like that inside at all. And I really enjoy dismantling that whole idea that there's some differential in our basic makeup as human beings, and I love playing an open hand about this, about the fact that there are things I'm missing in my career, there are things I don't know what the next job is, and also yes, I've been very very lucky and very fortunate, and but I like being open about it. I'm vehemently honest.
Yeah, I know. It's one of your best traits. It's why we're friends, I think.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
love that about you. It's awesome. Okay.
As I said, I feel. And this is having been teaching for decades now. I have seen what a service it does for other actors to know that they're not alone in what they're plagued by. This is sort of the crux of Audition Psych 101. Part of the magic of that class is we gather in a room, when we used to gather in rooms, and people get to go, "Oh my God, those gremlins are not just in my head. They're
Mhm.
tribal gremlins."
Mhm.
Like they visit all of us. And I think that alone is a sort of a ministry, you
Right.
know?
And that's why when you just said earlier that you thought that, that I would want you to bring in something inspiring,
Right.
this to me is inspiring. You know what I mean? Like that
Yes.
you're honest, that we all share the same gremlins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, that's inspiring to me.
Mhm.
Um, that like people even that I look up to are dealing with the same stuff I'm dealing with. And
Yeah.
that makes us a
Yeah.
community. That makes us, you know,
I mean,
tight.
I'm thinking about your question. I'm sure there are moments when it rests, and I'm sure that, uh, particularly on stage, there are certain moments where I'm like, "Right now, I'm doing the exact thing I'm supposed to be doing. There isn't some other place I'm supposed to be."
Mhm.
And those are nice little oases.
Amazing. I want to talk a little bit about Audition Psych 101.
Great.
Uh,
It's my passion.
I know you built it from. Can you for the people who
Yes.
don't know? Can you explain where this started, where it came
I'll
from?
give you the origin story of Audition Psych 101.
I
Uh,
love it.
Prefaced by the fact that many of my favorite things that have happened by accident, or I fell backwards into. I didn't know I was a writer until a guy at Disneyland who was a writer said, "You need to write for us." Had no idea I had writing talent, so stumbling backwards. So I had very big challenges with auditioning when I was starting out. And I don't exactly understand what was going on, but I was afraid to present myself in public, and it was awfully difficult. And over the years, with practice and with sort of breaking it down in my brain, it got easier. I was determined to make it easier and more pleasant, and also to sort of try to dismantle the parts that were mythological, the things that were scaring me that didn't need to scare me, the things that I made up in my brain. And before I knew it, literally before I knew it, I had developed a whole philosophy around this. And I
Hmm.
didn't know it until a friend told me to teach. She said, "Teach a class." I'm like, "On what?" She goes, "You're a fucking idiot. Every time I have an audition, you give me some piece of gold that saves my ass." I'm like, "I do?" She said, "Write it down." And I was terrified the first time I taught. And people were like, "You just changed my life." I'm like, which is really humbling and really moving because I love actors. And I've continued to teach it, um, all over the country, out of the country as well. And
Country.
um, say again?
I said out of the country as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's 4 hours that is just dealing with what goes on in our brains when we approach auditioning, and how. And it's not positive thinking, which is very important to me to add because I don't believe in that. It's not
Clearly.
convincing yourself of something that's not. Yeah, obviously, I don't believe in positive thinking. It's not convincing yourself of something that's not true. I don't believe in manifesting or visualizing. Sorry to anyone who does. I don't. I don't think it's a practical way to approach auditioning. It's very, very like, let's be blunt. Like you said, I'm brutally honest, or you didn't say brutally,
Vehemently.
vehemently honest.
Yeah.
Um,
4 hours of you being vehemently honest about.
Vehemently honest in ways that people go, "Oh, God, that makes so much more sense,"
Yeah.
and people leave my class, this is the best thing, going, "I can't wait for my next audition."
Yeah.
Who says that? Like, that's like, to be able to give that gift to people, again, it's a
Right.
humbling blessing. It's now out in book form because I was getting requests from places that I know I'll never visit. Australia, I don't have any plans to go there. And so now that that book is international, and listen, you know me well. You know how happy this makes me. Like, it makes me really, really happy to be helpful in an area that is so challenging for so many people. And there isn't really a lot of teaching about that, about
Yeah.
approaching auditions. And there's a lot of mythology. There's a lot of bad information and misleading ideas and, stuff that I hear that makes me want to tear the rest of my hair out. So yeah, that's Audition Psych 101.
Give me an example of one of those things that makes you want to tear your hair out.
Let me think. Let me think for a second.
Sure, yeah.
Because there are so many. I'm trying to pick out. Well, I don't like when people say, do something that no one else would do going into the room. Make a choice that no one else would make. I'm like, okay, well then you're making a choice that doesn't make sense because it goes against what's in the script. We're all unique. We don't have to work to be unique. And I hate that actors are driving themselves crazy going, what can I do that no one else will do? It's adding anxiety that we sure don't need,
Yeah.
But that's I've got a big collection of things like that drive me crazy.
Well, I've taken your class. Well, there was a point in time where I was taking your class twice a year.
Oh,
I don't know if you know that. I just kept showing up because the first time I took it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till my next audition.
Yeah.
And then I started applying the techniques that you've also, because it's not just about you sitting there complaining about,
No,
it's not that at all. It's giving you tools. It's giving you as an actor tools to handle, the next time you walk into that room.
Well, and also the end result is about joy. I love auditioning now, which is amazing considering where I came. I love it. I enjoy it every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And that's what I give to people. Let me plug a little bit because I do want people to come to the site and register, and here's why. I just reminded myself. In a few weeks, in January, I'm putting out a free mini course called, let me see if I can remember the title, Audition Myths, Tough Truths, and Logic, which are three things that I think we don't think about enough.
Say that again for me.
Audition Myths, Tough Truths, and Logic.
Okay.
So that's going to be, I like giving stuff away. So that's going to be a free, like a 3-part mini video course. Yeah.
Cool. You have a whole series of videos that you've put out that are amazing, and everyone can find those on your website as well.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I forget. I forget what I'm doing. Yes, I put out weekly. You're right. Thank you. I put out weekly videos about little aspects of the audition process.
Yeah. Again,
free. I'm not selling you anything. And that's at auditionpsych101.com. Oh, look at that. There's no E.
Darn it.
So do it what Julie did, but without the E. Auditionpsych101.com. And you click on Audition Psych 101, and then you go to the weekly videos page, and you can see
Psych, right?
Yeah.
It looks funny, doesn't it?
It does.
Isn't that how some words look funny when you write them down? You're like, that doesn't look funny, but it totally is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
people go to the website, they go to the thing,
right,
and then they get free video. You can just watch free videos on.
You subscribe. They come out every week. Lately, I'm starting to do a couple of videos that are more tailored to our new situation as actors with the COVID and everything like that. And again, the mental part of how we're approaching that.
Yeah.
And the videos are on everything from like where to look in the lens when everything, like mini microscopic things that I love talking about. I have about a year's worth of those, so I forgot about them. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I want people to get on my mailing list because of that mini course that's coming out, and I want them to be notified when it comes out, which is January 2nd. I think we're starting right at the beginning of the year.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Amazing. And
I don't think I told you about that before.
No, I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's going to be 3 videos, and are they each coming out like once a week or something, or like are you?
They'll come out in like every 2 days.
Okay.
And they will lead to an opportunity to take Audition Psych 101 online, which is the big. I haven't quite announced it yet, but that's the big. I've had a lot of people wanting to take it, and of course now it's just impossible. So they're like, "When are you teaching it again?" I'm like, "When's the pandemic ending?" That's when. But now I'm glad we filmed it while who knew this was happening? And we filmed it with a full class, and it's like a 22 or 24 part. It's good. I'm excited about it. But
Oh, I was there. I was there
yeah.
for that filming.
Oh, you were. That's right. That's right.
I was there. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a good crowd.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. That's really awesome.
Yeah, again, it makes me very happy to share it. You know.
Yeah, I know. I know you like helping people. That's like you. That like
Sure.
your heart too. I know.
Then I feel like I'm not doing something wrong because I'm helping,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
not wrong.
Yeah. There's your oasis right there.
That is, actually, that is. It really is. Yeah.
Helping people. Amazing. All right, my turn. So the second portion of this show
Yes.
is where I get to pick something that one thing that I'm obsessed about you with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I get to pick something now about you. And sorry, pardon me. It's very
Devastating sex appeal, obviously. That's it. Yeah. Okay.
The fact that you ask people online that you know, like for help with picking your new glasses. That's no. The thing that I am really impressed with you about is your deep commitment to open communication.
Oh, yeah.
You are so about on all sides. It doesn't matter if it's political or if it's like you said, like you're not into like manifestation and all that kind of stuff. Like, but there are people that are, and so you're open to talking to them about it. Like you're just open to talking all the time and trying to find a way to come together to meet in the middle.
Right.
And right around the time that the election was happening, you created a video series. Oh gosh, why am I blanking? What's the name of it?
Common Ground.
Common Ground. Yeah, I mean, perfect name for that, for who you are and what you do. Yeah. And I know it's interesting because I know that for a long time you were like, I don't know if I should even do this. Should I even continue doing these? Are people watching? Does it make any sense? Like what's happening? Like why would people care? Again, those demons, those little gremlins that you have saying all those things. Am I doing this wrong? Or do I do this at all?
That's me.
But boy, it was really fascinating. And I didn't realize how many there were going to be in the series. I also I'm still
doing them. I'm still doing
them. I know. I also kind of was thinking that when the election happened, that it would be over.
I thought that too, and then I had more ideas.
I think this is a really, really fascinating topic of finding common ground in all areas of life.
Yeah.
I have a little clip I want to show from your first episode that kind of encompasses like your philosophy on this. I think. Good. Let's just watch this little clip for a minute.
You know, I love that old quote, and I hate that I don't remember who said it, but someone said, "I disagree with everything you say, but I'll fight to the death to defend your right to say it," and that's where I'm at. I want freedom of speech for both of us. I want us both to feel represented in the government, because those are American principles. I want us all to feel that our voices are heard and our votes count and our needs are being addressed. And I want us to care about each other. You know? Yeah, so I think that's all I want to say for today. We are roommates. We share this ground. We share it. And we can absolutely have passionate, angry, important disagreements. But to stop speaking to each other, it isn't practical, because neither of us is leaving. We're all still going to be occupying this land together. None of us are going away. None of us are going to, have the absolute government that we want. None of us. So I want to find out if some of you out there might be willing to start to have conversations again, and start treating each other as fellow countrymen and women.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it was a very vulnerable thing to do. I'll tell you. For many years now, my this has been a passion of mine. Is that this really heartbreaking divide between Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives. I don't know what the labels are anymore. And it's now at its worst. You know, it's worse
Oh,
now than ever. And it makes my heart sad because I feel like it's great to have Democrats and Republicans in this country and balance each other off, you know, I don't like the complete dismissal of an entire half of the country that both sides are doing. At this point, there's so much rage and anger, a lot of it based on what we have told each other about the other side. We're not talking to each other.
right.
I have, and there's so much anger that I really, you know, I have a lot of concern that people watch my videos and they're like, bullshit. They get mad at me for suggesting that there could be common ground. And I have people say, how can there be common ground with someone who this and this and this? And my mission is not to say, oh, let's meet in the middle. Let's accept everybody. It's all good. I'm not saying that. I have very, very passionate disagreements with a lot of stuff on the right, and particularly Trump and Trump supporters. But to have contempt for the person so much that you don't even feel they're worth having a conversation with, to let them know, I don't like what you're saying and here's why. That is very, very sad to me, and I think that's never going to work in our favor, because, as I always say, we're roommates. We are not. We're stuck in this apartment together, so we got to work out our differences, at least to be able to coexist. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, I try to connect with Trump supporters on Twitter. I have a couple of friends or a couple of people that I exchange with on a regular basis. We disagree passionately and angrily, but one of them in particular, I still consider a friend. And that has introduced me to the stuff that they say about liberals. And they're like, you guys want to bring in Sharia law, and you know, and you want to, you know, you're all socialists and you want to destroy the nation from within, and you know, and all this stuff. So in my first video, I said, okay, so meet a liberal. Okay, I don't know anyone in Antifa. I really wouldn't know how to find someone in Antifa. I don't know what one world order is, or you know, or the things that you're saying that we believe in. And I said, let me run down some of the things we believe in, because you're going to be surprised how patriotic they are. And I think that goes. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Here's my brain going.
No.
I think that it's very easy for liberals to hear what I just said and go, yeah, that's right. They need to be enlightened. But we have to be enlightened also.
Yeah.
You know, people of faith have gotten terribly vilified. Terribly vilified. Like all people of faith are corrupt and awful and hypocrites. It's not all people of faith. That's not an entire group.
Yeah.
That some of those people who claim to be people of faith are horrible people, and then some of them are like, if you met them, if you had a conversation, you go, wow, I'm surprised. I like her. I like him. You know, I don't agree with them, but they're decent. You know, so yeah.
I'm friends with a Catholic priest, and have been friends with him since I was 12 years old, or 13 years old, and he is without a doubt one of the best people I've ever met on this planet. Yeah. And a lot of people vilify Catholicism or organized religion in every possible.
Certainly priests.
Certainly priests.
It's an assumption.
Yes. Right. But this man is so good at the core of his being. He's a good human being.
Right.
And he believes things that I don't believe in. There are certain, because as a Catholic priest, he has to, and he does. He not just that he has to, not that it's a requirement for him, but that he does believe them. And I don't believe some of the things that he believes in.
Yeah.
You know, but that does not mean that I can't sit with him in a Starbucks and have conversations with him.
Just that's sort of my only point is, are there things that we have in common? And yes, there are. And that might be a very small overlap, but I want to focus on that. It's a good place to start building. But even without that, can we just find other commonalities, like caring about our kids and worrying about, you know, finances, or just normal stuff that everybody goes through on the right, on the left, you know? And yeah, there are some deeply, deeply evil people out there. There's no question. No question. I am not ever saying, oh, give them a break. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying us regular citizens, the ones that are not, deep into some corruption, we can find a way to make the us and them about us decent folks versus the folks that are not decent, as opposed to a party line.
Right.
I think it's necessary.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do too. I think it's a requirement. And we haven't had that for a while as a country.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why there is such a great divide, because it's been a lot of, like, oh, well, that person's that, I'm cutting them off. I'm unfollowing them on social media. I don't want to
like that's proving something, like that's a big accomplishment. And I like to talk a lot about what's effective. What do you want? It's like the same questions we asked in an acting scene. What do you want? How are you getting it? What are your obstacles? Right.
Right.
So when you cut someone off, the result is not them going, gee, I should reconsider my point of view,
Right.
Or wow, they showed me their righteousness, and that doesn't happen.
Mm-mm.
That doesn't happen.
Usually when somebody unfollows you on social media, you're like, what a jerk.
Yeah, no, it doesn't prove anything. And same with name calling. Name calling doesn't prove anything. It might feel good, and it does, to be able to be snarky online anonymously. But this is why I use my real name on Twitter, and why I use my real name, because I'm like, no, this is me, and I'm gonna only post things I can stand behind. And if our goal is to get people to see the light and go, you're blind, what are you doing? Then calling them names and calling them too stupid to speak to is not going to achieve that goal. It doesn't affect decisions that happen in the government. It doesn't change anything. It's just, there's a lot of mean out there. I have a practice on those occasions when someone on the right says something that I like, I always post it. I'm like, I like this one thing this person said. And part of the reason I do it is to just watch the piranhas on my side try to pick it apart. People will say, well, yeah, but his record. I'm like, I'm not talking about his record, not defending his record. What do you think of what he said this one time? Let's start there.
Yeah.
There was one issue that I thought George W. Bush handled really, really well. Just one. I want to say, hey, it's what you do with a bad kid, like a bully, when they try to be nice. You're like, good for you. Well done. I like what you said there. It's positive reinforcement. And you don't lose any dignity from saying, this guy on the right had a good point. What happened to that? Whatever happened to that?
We used to have that.
We used to have that.
We used to have that. We need that again. I
learned some things from my Trump supporter friend, Stephen. There are a couple of things that I learned that didn't fit my narrative very comfortably. That I'm like, oh, okay. Doesn't change my opinion of overall, but to be open to go, oh, I didn't know that. That's a good point. He often will say, that's a fair point, because he says I'm like Jiminy Cricket on his shoulder now, because he's like, now I've met you, I understand a lot more about where liberals come from. I mean, look what happens from just hanging out.
Yeah.
And he said, I think a lot more carefully before I post now, because I know you're watching. I'm like, that's good.
I love that.
And I never called him stupid. I never called him a name. What I did say is, explain it to me. I want to understand what you like about Trump. Anyway, I'm being verbose.
No,
it's your section.
But this is what I want to talk about.
I'm obsessed with communication. Yes, I'm obsessed with communication. I'm obsessed with finding the words to make something make sense to the other person. I'm obsessed with it. One of my favorite things, a frequent comment I get about Letters from Backstage, my first book, which is about my time on the road with the producers and Les Mis on tour, is people say, I feel like I'm there, like I'm standing in the wings, like I'm checking into the hotel. I'm like, that's it. If I could squeeze out the right words that make somebody go, oh, bing, I get it. That's my jam. I love that.
Now, there's one other form of communication that you do on a weekly basis. It happens every Monday. Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm completely obsessed with your weekly blog.
Oh, that.
Is
I
that
think we were talking about our writing
what do you
sessions.
think I was talking about?
Our writing sessions.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're writing a book together, so that's a whole other thing.
Whole other thing.
We're not going to that. We'll talk about that another time when the book.
My blog. Okay.
Yes. Is that okay? Can we talk about your blog?
I love my blog
Because I know you're kind of anonymous. I mean, you know, like even on social media, you're like, oh, the character voice of the you know the writings.
It's fine. You say
okay.
it.
I just want to make sure.
It's not a highly guarded secret. It's just fun. I think there's something fun to me about having this other persona who writes. You know.
Yeah.
The blog.
Yeah. So you write this blog called The Weekly Curmudgeon. I love it so much.
Me too.
It's a little guilty pleasure. I can't wait for Mondays because I'm like, oh, it's like I've got this favorite podcast that by the way, this episode is being turned into a podcast. Yes, you're gonna be on a podcast. Are you excited?
My agent. No.
So I love doing I love listening to podcasts. I'm obsessed with them. And my favorite one right now is called The Armchair Expert. It's with Dax Shepard and
it's great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I learn so much every time I listen to Armchair Experts. So that's kind of what inspired me to want to do my own show is Dax Shepard and that show. But anyway, I digress. The Weekly Curmudgeon is, aside from the weekly episodes that are released on Armchair Expert, the Weekly Curmudgeon is the other thing that I'm like, I can't wait. It's like that one thing in my week. I'm like, that Monday. Ooh, here we go. Where's the curmudgeon? So explain to me how the Weekly Curmudgeon started, and where you can get it. Just start with how it started.
Okay. I love rules. I'm a kind of a stickler. I get really, really militant. Like when people talk during live theater, it is not okay. That is the angriest I ever get. And I'm mad about things like people trying to get onto the subway while people are trying to get off the subway, and misuse of quotation marks and so forth and so on. And as a joke, I said to my wife, I should write a weekly blog. And she said, you should. And here's why. She said, you know what? You're pushing 60. You're not going to change. You have a lot of complaints. How about let that flag fly? Go, that's who I am. And I was like, oh, how freeing. She says, just do it. People don't have to like it. They don't have to read it. You get to just go, yes, I am a curmudgeon. You know, so I started writing in this extra snooty, extra disapproving style, which I enjoy. It's got big fancy words, and sometimes I overstate my own opinion. Like I wrote one about not liking kids and pets, and I love kids and pets. But I thought the Weekly Curmudgeon would be like, I did not choose to have children. Please keep them on your side. I do not want to engage with them. You know, and it's been really fun. Shockingly, it's now been going on for 3 years. Every week. I've had some guest curmudgeons. I've had some guest curmudgeons, which is really fun too. One in particular, a writer named Neil Ramsey, really gets the style of the thing and nails it. So I invite him back often. But I mean, I've complained about how the designs of showers in hotels are inconsistent, and you have to figure out the technology every time.
Every time you go to when you're traveling on a tour. When you're on tour and you're in a different hotel every week.
Thank you. I'm justified.
I complained to my mother about it. Not only that, but the lamps. Can we talk about the lamps in hotels? Because sometimes they've got the little thing on the bottom. Sometimes you have to reach inside and do the thing.
It's always a new thing to figure out.
Oh.
Same with updates. I don't like updates. I don't want my programs and my platforms update. I don't want to be a technician.
No, I don't need Facebook.
And as you know,
every 5 minutes.
Say again.
I don't need Facebook to change their platform every 5 minutes.
No. And as you'll recall, I rented your apartment and wrote one that was based on something in your apartment.
Right there. You wrote about that.
Yeah, you've cleaned it up a lot. That bed used to be filled with pillows, and I wrote one complaining about decorative pillows. One of my favorites was about how American cheese doesn't qualify as an actual cheese.
Agreed.
True. Yeah. Some of them are quite fun, and you know, every week my wife rolls her eyes because every week I go, this is not one of the good ones. This is not very good, you know. And then it comes out and people go, that's great. So yeah.
Well, where can we find your myriad of Monday blogs
Theweeklycurmudgeon.com.
like that?
Yes, correctly spelled. Thank you. The Weekly Curmudgeon. Yes. And the curmudgeon is quite a stickler for grammar.
Grammar and spelling. You know what? I am actually
So,
disappointed in myself because I have a mug that I was going to use during this show, and I forgot to grab it from my kitchen before the show started. But it actually says on the mug, I'm really disappointed in me. The mug actually says, I'm correcting your grammar as we speak.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. It's like, because that's a big thing for you, is grammar, punctuation.
And I have to give a shout out to my fantastic anonymous under the radar editor and proofreader, Mindy White. Mindy, the curmudgeon cannot have errors. It
No,
cannot have errors.
absolutely.
And Mindy is as big a stickler as I am. I have to put in a plug because this is what she does. She's a copy editor, and she does script coverage. And she has, Mindy has a book called Getting Past Me, because she's a reader for the studio. She's a studio reader who reads scripts, and it's all the common mistakes that screenwriters make that makes her go, I can't recommend this script. It's really good. It's called Getting Past Me.
Getting Past Me. Okay, I don't know. I have to read this now.
But yes, Mindy White is she has caught so many mistakes because you don't see them yourself, and every week she's just, God bless her. She edits and proofreads, especially the Weekly Curmudgeon, so that the Weekly Curmudgeon is error free.
I love it. It's a requirement for him, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
So
he's not very tolerant.
If you just need a good, yes, he understands me. Again, this is all tied into communication. That to have someone, especially during this time when some of us live alone. I live alone. I don't see people most of the time, and to have someone who understands what my brain, this speaks my heart.
Yeah.
About just go through the doorway first, those little things. That's like,
what's so interesting is I thought people would be like, God, Michael, what a grouch, what a grump, and people are like, thank you, this drives me crazy. I'm so glad you talked about the pillows on the bed or whatever.
Oh my God, or the elevator opening, and it's like, just get out of the way, or the subway doors opening. I say it constantly. Just please step to the side, let the people out, so you can go. You can't go in if people are coming at you.
It's just physics.
Yeah, it's just common. It's logic, and so I scream every week with the curmudgeon. I just agree with everything. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant.
I like it best when I'm really, really nitpicky about some small thing that bothers me, like people wearing wool caps in the summer as a fashion statement. I really hate it. I did one about how many pins they put in the shirt packaging. You've got 47.
You guys deal with that. That's so annoying. Every time you pull out a new shirt, you've got 50, and it's never a consistent number of pins. Some shirts have 3, some shirts have 8.
There's always one that you forgot that you discover in an unpleasant way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's been lovely discovering that people are just as curmudgeonly as I am.
And that word, it's one of my favorite words too. So I'm so happy that you're using the title. It's so great. It's so great. So yeah, that's what I love how vehemently honest you are. All right. I want to end the show as what I always do with my rapid fire questions. Now,
I'm nervous.
I know you are. This is going to be hard for you because I just want one answer. I want your gut instinct. You're going to say, yeah, I know. But
here's the other thing. I'm told this is a Gemini trait. There's never one favorite or one choice. I have to read the whole menu, then cull it down, and it's very hard to give one answer on anything. But I'll try. I'll try.
We're just gonna go quick. We're gonna rip this Band-Aid off. We're gonna go quick. And the thing is that what was that?
Doesn't have to be accurate.
No, it doesn't. It just has to be literally what you're feeling in the moment that I ask the question. What are you feeling? What is like bursting from your gut to say? Done. And then we move on. And there's no right or wrong answer, Michael Kostroff. None of these are wrong because they're yours. None of these are going to be wrong answers. Okay. Now, I have about 60 questions here. So, and I literally just scroll through. It's very random. Every single guest gets different questions. It's a combination of questions that I've made up, a combination of questions from someone I know named Chris Pan, who created an organization called, oh my gosh, hold on one second. I'm just going to grab it right here. myintent.org. Sorry. There's a company called myintent.org, and they make these bracelets, and you have to choose a word, one word. And it gets engraved on the bracelet right in front of you. It's really spectacular. So he has a lot of questions to help people find what their one word is. So there's that. And then the other one is James Lipton, of course.
Of course, right. Yeah.
And then, of course, Brene Brown has 10 of her own questions.
Right.
And at this very moment, my computer screen has decided to completely freeze. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
So you might have to make up 3 questions.
I might have to make up some questions. Let me just see if I can find them on my iPad.
Where did I get 3 from? Wait, now it's just me. I don't know if Julie disconnected. Did you disconnect? Do I have to do a monologue or something? The clock is still ticking, so something's going on. For once, I think she did something wrong. All right, talk amongst yourselves. I don't know what's happening.
Hi, sorry. That's a first.
I just wanted to chat with your audience.
I'm so glad that it's you. That has never happened before. My computer just completely shut down. Now this is a brand new.
I said while you were gone, I said for once Julie did something wrong. So I did something wrong. It wasn't me.
No, it was not you. You did nothing wrong. I'm like completely shocked as to what just happened. So I'm trying to find these rapid fire questions now. Give me a second to find them because I have to restore everything.
Take your time.
Restore them. So
what should I talk about while you're doing that?
I think I found them. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Yeah, here they are. Got them. Okay. Let me just, where are you? There you are. Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
No.
I know. You're going to be fine. It's going to be, take a deep breath. You're going to be okay. Oh yeah. So some of these are a mix of Brene Brown, James Lipton, Chris Pan, and me. So it's a whole array of things. Okay, ready? We're going to start easy. We're going to start easy. Favorite fruit?
Bananas.
Great. Describe a single snapshot of an ordinary moment of your life that brings you joy.
The moment when I know I'm going to be moving to a different place.
Oh, you love travel.
There's this thing I can't describe that feels like melancholy joy, where I know I'm going. It's happened when I was on tour. Whenever it's time to pack up, I go. My whole heart gets like
Can't wait.
That's an ordinary moment that makes me go just joy.
Amazing. What's one question you would ask a fortune teller?
What am I doing wrong?
Oh, okay. What is something new that you recently tried and loved?
Backgammon.
Backgammon? Oh, cool. Awesome. Favorite curse word?
Motherfucker.
Oh, it's such a good one. That's such a good one.
There's nothing like it. Also, by the way, if I could elaborate a little bit.
Yes, of course.
in
Please.
certain circumstances, it's a compliment. I mean, when somebody's acting really well, I'm like, motherfucker. You know, in jazz slang, it literally means somebody who can play their face off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy's a motherfucker. Yeah.
Awesome. What have you witnessed that has strengthened your faith in humanity?
Can I tell a short story?
Please.
One night I was in New York. I was walking home late, and this cab driver calls to me from his window, and he says, "Can you help me? This lady is in a cab. She's really drunk, and she won't tell me her address." And so me and this lovely man spoke to this woman who's like, "I'm not telling you anything." Blah, blah, blah. It was like, "We're trying to get you home," total strangers, right? And at the end, she gave his address, and I said to him, I should preface this by saying this was an Indian cab driver. I said, "She's not going to pay you. Can I give you some money?" He goes, "Nah, it's okay. It's my last life as a cab driver."
Oh, I love that.
Just a little beautiful moment of New York beautifulness.
I was going to say that's such a New York City moment.
It is. It's a lovely New York City moment, and again, I think New Yorkers are much more kind than our reputation.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000%. Yeah.
Isn't that a good one? Isn't that a good little story?
Can I tell you mine really quick? Okay.
Yes.
I had just moved to New York. It was 2001, I think. And I had a lot of stuff. I had 2 very large suitcases. I'm small. I'm 5'4", and this was pre 9/11. This was 2000 actually. I was moving there to rehearse for the National Tour of Cats. So this was pre 9/11. So I had huge suitcases. They were 70 pounds each. And someone told me, look, the cheapest way to get from JFK to where you're going in Manhattan is to take the subway. Just take the subway into the city. So I did. And when I got into the city, I didn't realize that there were no elevators up to the street level. I was on the 34th Street, and there was no way to get my suitcases. There were hundreds of stairs. I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And if I leave one down there and drag the first one up, then I got to leave it up there. And what if someone steals it? Like, I just had all the New York things, like someone's going to mug me or take my stuff. This is everything I own.
Yeah.
This very large, scary looking man comes up to me and he grabs both of my suitcases and he takes off up the stairs. And I was like, I've just been mugged. I'm here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I've just been mugged. And he gets to the top of the stairs. He holds these things like they weigh nothing. And he gets to the top of the stairs and he looks down. And he goes, "You coming?" And I was like, oh my God. Like that was like.
That was welcome to New York. Yeah.
Yes, that was my welcome to New York.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Favorite flower?
Tulips.
Why?
Why? I don't have a why. I just love them.
Okay. Mac or PC?
Mac.
Best thing that you cook and why?
Pasta, because it's easy and I can just make it up as I go along and throw things in it.
Okay. What's your favorite word?
You're killing me here.
I know that's a hard one. I told you I'd start slow and then move up. Just name one.
I
know you got 50 in your head right now.
Sassafras. I don't know. That's too hard. Too hard. But yeah.
What's one weird quirk that you think you have that no one else does?
This is so hard. One weird quirk that I have that no one else does. I wish I could have prepared for this.
Okay, we'll come back to it.
Okay.
We can come back to that one.
All right.
What's one TV show or movie that you could watch every single day over and over again?
Oh, I think probably Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Oh.
It never fails to make me giggle.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could have dinner with one person, living or dead.
Bob Fosse.
Ooh. God, that's a good one. I've never heard anyone say that before. That's a really good one.
That's what comes from me not editing and saying what comes to my brain, because
I love it.
I could second guess that for the rest of the day, but that's who came to mind.
This one you're gonna really like. This question you're gonna really like. Who are 5 musical artists that formed your appreciation of music in your life? Not just one, 5.
5. I'm
Or
glad
it
there
doesn't have to be 5, just a group of musical artists that formed your appreciation of music.
are. The Manhattan Transfer, Stephen Sondheim, Ella Fitzgerald. You said it could be more than 5?
Sure.
Oh, no. Okay. Stop me when you want you to stop. Chaka Khan. So many people.
Okay, one more.
Okay, I'll do one more person.
Isn't there someone in your who was hanging in your bathroom in New York City?
Joe Jackson. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love Joe Jackson.
I know you love Joe Jackson. He's literally the only piece of art in your bathroom.
Yeah, Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson. Okay.
Can't say enough about him. Underappreciated.
Really, truly. Okay, last thing. What is the one thing you are most proud of in your life?
I'm going to say Audition Psych 101. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. All right, my friend, you got through it. You made it through.
I have to go back to your other question.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say I like to, I don't know if I like to, but I find that when I'm pulling the car in, I'll open the door before I've even stopped the car. I start the process before. There's some weird thing about doing it all at the same time that I do.
Get me out of this thing. Oh,
right.
Yeah. Do that before, like open the car door.
Like the seatbelt is off and the thing before the. Yeah.
Are you driving at the same time?
No, it's sort of like the last moment when I've. Sometimes, yeah, if I'm pulling into the driveway, seatbelt comes off, and then before I've even turned the key off, the door is open. So yeah.
I love it.
That was a lame ass answer, but that's what I got.
No, that's great. It's fantastic. It's perfect. All right. Once again, I just want to reiterate, you can find information on Audition Psych 101 here at Audition Psych 101.
Yes.
And if you want to read the Weekly Curmudgeon, which will make you smile, I guarantee it. You can go to the Weekly Curmudgeon. That is how you spell curmudgeon.
Yes.
It's a tough word to spell.
And if you're a fan of complaining, it's for you.
Oh, this is for, well, who isn't? I mean, let's be honest now. Let's really be vehemently honest. Yes. Who is not a fan of complaining? Some people are like, I don't complain, or I'm trying not to complain. My New Year's resolution is not to complain. Oh, please.
Bullshit.
Yeah, please. We love a complainer. Everyone loves to complain. So there's those two, very important. Also, please, if you enjoyed this content, subscribe and click the bell so you can see further episodes. And it would really mean a lot to me if you would please support the Actors Fund. So you can make a donation via Venmo at Julie Garnyé or paypal.me, Julie Garnyé. And I will be sure to get those funds to the Actors Fund. They are all good friends of mine, and I'm very excited to help support them. Michael Kostroff, you're amazing. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. You are wonderful. And I will be talking to you. Just so stick around. I'll be talking to you in just a second. I just want to do a quick little ending of the show here, and then we'll have a little chat. But thank you very much, Michael Kostroff. He's amazing. You guys, that was so much fun. And I learned things about my friend of, I don't even know how long we've been friends. We can't remember between the two of us. I don't think we can remember where we met. We still can't remember where we met, but we've been friends for many, many, many years. And I learned things about him today I didn't even know about. So that's pretty amazing. Next week's guest is very special to me. Songwriter, composer, lyricist, all around wonderful human being. John Bacchino is going to be here next week. He wrote a Broadway show. He's written an animated movie for DreamWorks, which you will know. And he's just an amazing, interesting human being. He's got a lot of really interesting things to say and a really, really wonderful concert to plug. So I can't wait for him to be here next week. That's about it. Thank you so much for joining me at That One Thing. And we will see you next week. Very, very excited. Bye, everybody.